Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your source material. Sometimes it's a huge stack of research. Other times, like today, it's a single, powerful statement, and we really just pull out the essential knowledge you need. Today, our focus is very narrow, but also incredibly deep. We're looking at the specific source you gave us on Ritu Karidhal, and we're going to treat every word of it like it matters. Because it does.
It really does.
The source defines her role very, very concisely. Ritu Karidhal is explicitly identified as ISRO's visionary leader.
And that phrase right there, that gives us our mission. When a major global space agency like ISRO gives someone the title visionary leader, that's not an accident. It's a deliberate statement.
A strategic statement.
Exactly. So we need to unpack what that designation really means, what it implies about her influence, and then we connect it to the second part of the source, which defines her purpose, inspiring generations through science and space.
Okay, let's jump right in. What stands out to me immediately isn't just that she's a successful scientist, we know that. It's that she is defined by this term, visionary leader.
Yes.
We're not talking about a general manager here, or even a chief engineer. The source frames her as the architect of future policy.
Precisely. We have to look at this less as a simple biography and more as a window into an organization's strategy, all signaled by one person's title.
So, focusing strictly on that language, ISRO's visionary leader. When you see a term like visionary in a high-stakes government science agency, what does that actually translate to? I mean, in terms of real influence.
That's the critical question, isn't it? In an organization that is all about results, visionary can't just be a nice word. It has to mean something tangible.
You have to have operational weight.
It has to. And what it implies is that her success isn't measured just by the mission that launches tomorrow, but by the projects that are planned 5, 10, even 15 years from now.
Wow, okay.
She's the person who commits the organization to a path that might not even show results until a whole new team is in place to see it through.
So you're talking about a massive, almost generational institutional commitment. A visionary is the one saying, we need to develop this specific technology now.
Because we'll need it for a Mars mission in 2040.
Yes.
They're the one putting real political and financial capital behind research that is, by its very nature, incredibly risky.
And when you think about ISRO's reputation, I mean, they're famous for doing these complex things with amazing efficiency, right?
Remarkable efficiency. A technical leader makes sure today's satellite works perfectly. A visionary leader, though, is deciding what kind of satellite ISRO will be known for a decade from now. That's a whole different level of decision-making.
And that has to involve balancing so many things at once. The tech, the budget, the global competition.
It's a complex triangulation. You're absolutely right. It means she has to identify the technological gaps ISRO has to fill and then fight for the funding to make it happen over these long, long cycles.
These like reusable launch vehicles or human space flight. Those aren't weekend projects.
Not at all. They require a leader who can secure that buy-in across multiple governments, multiple scientific leadership teams. So the title itself, visionary leader, it becomes a kind of organizational shorthand.
Shorthand for what?
For trusted foresight. It's ISRO as an institution saying, we trust her strategic judgment to keep us ahead of the curve, especially now when so many other countries are speeding up their own space programs.
So she's not just focused on the how of a rocket launch.
No, she's defining the why of launching at all. She's deciding that while maybe everyone else is focused on low Earth orbit, ISRO needs to be making a huge early bet on, say, deep space robotics.
That's a massive strategic gamble.
It is. It's a defining bet. And it sounds like the role demands this incredible mix of deep technical knowledge and, frankly, intense bureaucratic skill. It's not enough to have the vision.
You have to know how to fund it, staff it, and protect it for 15 years.
Absolutely. And that's the power behind the title. When an organization like ISRO calls her that, they're signaling that her strategic calls are institutionally protected. They're a priority.
It protects the hard, necessary stuff from short-term budget cuts.
Exactly. It ensures the long-term health of India's goals in space. So for you, the learner, understanding this title is like getting a peek at ISRO's internal roadmap for the future.
And that brings up a really interesting point.
What's that?
If vision is about choosing one or two critical things to focus on, what gets left behind? A visionary leader also has to mandate sacrifice, right?
No, that's a brilliant point. Vision isn't about doing everything. It's about making the tough call to focus massive resources on a few key areas, probably at the expense of some easier short-term wins. That's the real mark of leadership.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me, because the source ties that high-level strategic role directly to a specific outcome,
Right.
inspiring generations through science and space. The vision isn't just for the organization, it's for society.
This is such a crucial link. It's one thing for a mission to be inspiring. It's another for the source to name the leader as the wellspring of that inspiration. It implies a conscious strategy.
A strategy to connect the lab to the classroom.
The launch pad to the public imagination, yes.
And the source is very specific here. It splits it into two fields, science and space. Why do you think that distinction is important? I mean, isn't space just a part of science?
It is, but they serve different psychological roles. Inspiration from space is about the spectacle, the grand story, the what if.
The frontier, the adventure.
The adventure, exactly. You see a photo from the Chandrayaan mission, and you're just hit by the scale of human ambition. It pulls everyone into the story emotionally.
Okay, so that's space. What about science?
Inspiration from science is different. It's about credibility, rigor, the method. It tells an aspiring student, look, this path is hard, it's math, it's physics, but it's real, and it leads to world-changing results.
And Ritu Karidhal's role embodies both. She's the rigorous scientist whose work produces that spectacle.
Perfectly put, she synthesizes them.
So why should you, our listener, the learner, really care about this specific kind of inspiration? Why does science and space inspiration matter so much?
You should care because scientific progress isn't.
Yeah.
It's not inevitable. It needs fuel. It needs a constant pipeline of new talent.
And inspiration is the fuel.
It's the engine. When a figure like her, who is defined as a visionary, achieves these incredible things, it validates the entire STEM education system of a nation. It's proof.
Proof that the hard work a student is doing right now in a physics class
Will translate into something monumental on a global stage tomorrow. It turns the abstract equations on a whiteboard into the real-world engineering that lands a probe on the moon.
It makes perfect sense. The space mission becomes the tangible goal at the end of a very long, very difficult educational path.
And what's fascinating is that the leadership role itself becomes part of the inspiration. It's not just the rockets, it's the fact that a leader like her is trusted to guide these critical, unbelievably complex projects.
That shows the next generation that there's a real, powerful career path waiting for them.
That representation is absolutely critical for driving that generational interest, you know?
And if we bring it back to ISRO's global brand innovation on a budget, that becomes part of the story too, doesn't it? It says that world-class work doesn't just come from unlimited funds.
It comes from brilliant, visionary, strategic thinking. It creates this powerful global narrative that high-stakes science is accessible. It validates national aspiration. And that resonates directly with young people thinking about what to do with their lives.
So the inspiration isn't just some happy byproduct, it's a planned, strategic outcome of the leadership itself.
Yes, the source connects the dots. The visionary strategy is explicitly linked to the generational impact. It's a feedback loop. Ambitious missions need public support. That support is generated by the inspirational success of past missions. Her job is to manage the flow of both.
It's legacy building in real time. But the legacy isn't a statue. It's the sustained intellectual curiosity of a nation.
That's it. The ability to sustain and grow the field itself is probably the highest measure of what it means to be a visionary leader in science. They're not just managing a budget, they're cultivating the human talent for 2040 and beyond.
So, after drilling down into these two key phrases, what does it all mean? We have Ritu Karidhal as ISRO's visionary leader and her role in inspiring generations. What's the synthesis?
I think the core insight for you, for the listener, is to see the power that's coded into organizational language. When an institution like ISRO calls someone a visionary leader, it's not just a compliment.
It's a signal.
It's a very clear signal about institutional trust, trust in her long-term judgment to define the agency's competitive edge for decades to come.
And it also confirms that ISRO sees that inspirational piece not as a side effect, but as a central, necessary output of its missions. It's baked into the architecture.
Yes, exactly. The success is always two-layered. Technical success up in space and educational success down here, inspiring the next cohort of scientists and engineers. Understanding her title is the key to seeing that link.
She is, by the source's own definition, the linchpin connecting today's scientific power with tomorrow's intellectual foundation.
That's the takeaway. Visionary leadership in this field isn't just about setting goals. It's about validating the path for everyone who comes after.
And that seems like the perfect place